No, the pledge is the part I can't get past, Kiki. They want you to sign it, in ink, before they let you in the room. And the thing you're signing is a promise not to look around the room. Oh, we're on. The badge still scans, Kiki. It lights up green. It makes the little chirp. But the room behind it is now a room you're not allowed to walk into, which means somebody changed the lock and left the welcome. Oh. It is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. Tonight, a government office built for exactly one purpose, standing in a room and answering questions from reporters, has decided the reporters are the threat. We'll tell you what they took away and what they're asking people to sign before they can have a fraction of it back. Sports. A woman old enough to have grandchildren is walking back onto a court that has been ending careers half her age, and a Super Bowl team just handed a star player to a rival for what I can only describe as store credit. And one country just turned around an entire shipment of another country's most famous fruit over a single piece of paper. Also, detectives in the largest city in the country have opened an official file on something that should not require detectives. We'll get to who keeps surfacing. I'm Sloan.
And I'm Kiki. Good morning, my sweet little press credentials. Hi, sweet friends. This program contains strong language, adult content, satire, and exactly one fruit that has cleared more background checks than most of the people who run our government. There are also several men emerging from the earth, which we are told is not a metaphor. Be gentle with each other. Ask one good question today. Enjoy!
The story tonight is about a room, a specific room in a specific building, where for a very long time there has been a deal. The people who run the most powerful military on Earth talk, and the people whose job is to write down what they say are allowed to be in the room while they say it. That was the arrangement. Both sides built their whole existence around it. This week, one side ended it, and the part that should stop the room is that they didn't end it with an argument. Nobody disputed a story. Nobody filed a correction. They just changed the conditions for being in the building, and the new condition is a piece of paper you have to sign. We'll tell you what the paper says. The paper is the entire show tonight.
I think there's something almost peaceful about it, Sloan. No more elbowing, no more shouting over each other, no more of that hungry feeling everyone gets when there's a leak. If everyone agrees to wait for the same announcement, then nobody's left out. That's not a closed door. That's a quieter hallway.
Kiki, a quiet hallway is exactly what you get when you remove everyone whose job is to make noise in it. We're going to walk through what they took, what they're asking people to sign, and the reason they gave, because the reason is the part that turns this from a policy into a confession. And they did all of it, this week, without anyone in a position to stop them being allowed to ask why. Here's the detail nobody's leading with. The journalists weren't fired. They weren't denied interviews. They lost their desks. Physical desks inside the building that reporters have occupied since the Eisenhower administration. The Pentagon press corps has had a workspace in that building for roughly 70 years. And the office whose literal job is talking to them just told them to pack it up. The new policy requires reporters to sign a pledge, agree not to gather information that hasn't been authorized for release, or surrender their credentials. Read that twice. The condition for covering the Pentagon is agreeing, in writing, not to find anything out.
But Sloan, there's something almost tidy about it. If it's all coming out anyway, why have everyone sprinting the halls like raccoons chasing a leak? Everybody gets the same facts at the same time. That's fair. That's egalitarian even.
Kiki, that's not journalism. That's a press release with a waiting room. A reporter who only prints authorized information isn't a reporter. He's a printer. We built a free press specifically because the government's account of the government is the one account you cannot trust. and the Defense Department has now formalized that the only account you'll get is theirs, typed on their letterhead, on their schedule. And the framing, this is the part, the framing is protecting operational security. That's the reason. National security. The office that exists to communicate with the public has decided the threat to national security is the public. It's a bakery that banned flour, fired the bakers, and called it a fire safety upgrade, an institution defending transparency by removing the people who report on it. The desk is the part that should keep you up, not a metaphor. A desk, a chair, a phone line, a place where someone sat and asked questions for 70 years, now boxed up and wheeled out under guard. You don't lock the door on a workspace you're proud of. You lock the door on a room you've decided no one should see into anymore. And the key to that door is a signature, the pledge says. The price of access is agreeing not to use it without official clearance. Remember that phrase. We'll need it again before the night is out. So the building that talks to the press has stopped talking to the press. I need to hand this to someone who has never been authorized to say anything she said. Aubrey Joe is in the garage. Unredacted.
She's never signed a pledge in her life, Sloan.
Sloan, I would burn the goddamn pledge for warmth, and I have been back here chewing the desk waiting because Serena Williams is coming out of retirement. And I have feelings. Let's go! Serena Williams, 44 years old, coming back to professional tennis. 40-fucking-4! The greatest of all time, retired, mother, businesswoman, a woman who has nothing left to prove to anyone, looked at the tour and said, I'm not done. Sloan just told me Jannik Sinner melted at the French Open at 23 because it got warm out. Serena is twice his age and about to walk back onto a court that buried lesser women. I will be watching every match like it's the goddamn moon landing. And the Eagles, the Super Bowl champion Eagles, traded A.J. Brown to the Patriots for 2 draft picks. 2! You don't trade a top 5 receiver for fucking lottery tickets unless somebody in that locker room wanted him gone. That's not a football move. That's a divorce with a press release. Some general manager is sitting in a vest right now calling it roster optimization, and I want to throw a chair through his goddamn window. Finland won the hockey world title! Finland! Land of saunas and emotional repression and the happiest people on the planet. They just took the whole damn thing. 2 weeks ago, Norway got their first ever medal, and now Finland's hoisting the trophy. The Nordics are coming for everything, and they're doing it well rested, which should frighten the shit out of you. All right. Yesterday evening, the inaugural Greater Holstead sealed envelope endurance carry took place in front of 11 spectators and 1 foreman with a clipboard. The sport. You balance a stack of sealed envelopes on the flat of your hand and walk 100 meters without dropping one or breaking a seal. Derek registered as pursuing Holstead the 16th and arrived having built a wrist-mounted leaf blower. A small one, he'd learned, he said, from previous events. Angled to puff a tiny updraft under his own envelopes, triggered by a bite switch in his teeth. Derek bit the switch at the 50-meter mark. The wrist blower fired the updraft exactly as planned and launched all 40 of Derek's envelopes into a vertical column, where an industrial ceiling fan caught them and turned them into a fucking paper tornado, indoors. Derek, clawing at his shirt, bit the switch again by reflex, fired the blower into his armpit, and spun himself into the glass sorting bin. Margaret, balancing her stack on a hand she had rested all morning to keep steady, walked 100 meters at the pace of a woman delivering mail she respects, broke not one seal, and won her 17th consecutive event. Travis used to mail himself stuff. Postcards. To his own apartment. Said it was the only way he knew the mail still worked. One of them came after he left. I've still got it. It's blank. Anyway, sports.
He mailed himself a blank postcard and it still arrived. I think that's the most hopeful thing anyone said today. Something getting where it's going even when there's nothing written on it.
Or a man stamped an empty rectangle, dropped it in a slot, and waited 6 days to confirm the void was operational.
Kiki, he bit a switch and made it rain envelopes indoors. That's a man who learned nothing from 3 leaf blowers. But yeah, no, the postcard. Okay, I'm gonna stop bringing him up. I keep doing that. It's a whole thing. Somebody take my phone.
Speaking of things arriving where they're going, Japan has just banned imports of Indian mangoes. The Alfonso, the king of mangoes, Sloan. People in India weep about this fruit. There are poems. And it's banned because one processing facility, failed a phytosanitary inspection. The treatment that's supposed to kill fruit flies before the mangoes board the plane. One facility, one failed test, and the entire country's mango is turned around at customs. And the thing I keep sitting with is the irradiation. To ship a mango to certain countries, you have to bombard it with radiation to sterilize it. A process so specific that there are exactly a handful of approved facilities on Earth that can do it. The mango has to be authorized for release. It has to clear inspection. The fruit gets a clearance process most journalists no longer do.
Kiki, that's the part that's actually obscene. A mango cannot enter Japan without documented, verified, third-party proof that it is exactly what it claims to be. The fruit cannot get in on its own say-so, and we have spent this entire broadcast describing an institution that just decided the public should accept its account of itself, with no inspection at all. The mango is held to a higher evidentiary standard than the Pentagon.
But Sloan, there's something tender in it too. They're protecting their own ecosystem. One fruit fly, one bad larva, and an entire native crop could collapse. They're not being cruel to the mango. They're being careful about the room the mango walks into. That's love, in a way. That's a country saying we have to know exactly what's coming through the door.
And there it is. Japan inspects a mango at the border because it knows that what gets in without checking can quietly rot the thing it landed in. We inspect the fruit. We stopped inspecting the institutions. One of those decisions protects a harvest. The other one is being called operational security. The mango gets the scrutiny. The press got a pledge. Blaze has the weather.
Hey, so everybody in there's been talking about doors that close and pledges you have to sign. And I've been looking at the map, and Denver is at 70 degrees, getting hit with 70-mile-per-hour winds. And the official forecast says, I'm reading it directly, clear and windy. Clear and windy. 70 miles an hour. That's not windy. That's a city being interrogated by the sky, and the report says nothing happened. Chicago's at 50-mile-an-hour gusts on a clear day, which is the windy city finally living up to a name it's been dodging for a century. Miami's at 93, and sweating completely alone. Everybody else is in the 60s and 70s reaching for a jacket, and Miami's just out there, 27 degrees away from the entire rest of the country, isolated and warm and not telling anyone why. Okay, since I've got you, I need to get something off my chest, and it's not the wind. There's a defense bill moving right now, and this isn't a forum post. This is the actual text. It's the one Sloan was orbiting all night without naming. A measure to deepen U.S.-Israel military cooperation. And the thing that stopped me is that 2 people are trying to strip it out. Ro Khanna, a Democrat, and Thomas Massie, a Republican. 2 men who agree on nothing, from opposite ends of the entire system, lining up on the exact same side. Like LA and Seattle hitting the same wind speed. That doesn't happen unless something underneath is pushing them there, and the section they want removed is the section the press would normally be in the building asking questions about. Except the building just took the press's desk. The wind in Denver has no warning. The bill has no hearing. The 2 men agreeing have no reason to. The forecast is Denver gets sandblasted, Miami sweats alone, and the room with the answers in it locked the door this morning. Back to you.
Two men who agree on nothing, agreeing on that.
Blaze, sweetie, a city being interrogated by the sky, and the report says nothing happened. That's going where I keep things.
Kiki, I have asked you 4 episodes running where you keep the things. No, fine. The wind. Denver 70. On the nose. I checked. Blaze, you gorgeous paranoid barometer. The one city getting beaten up and the paperwork goes, clear skies. Have a nice day.
Police in New York are investigating a series of videos showing men, multiple separate men, on different days, climbing up out of the city's storm sewers and walking off into traffic like they had an appointment. No explanation, no common thread, just grown men lifting manhole covers from below, emerging into Manhattan and leaving. The NYPD's official position is, quote, looking into it.
Sloan, I love them! Wherever they're going, they know a route nobody else knows, while the rest of us are stuck on the sidewalk with the wind blowing our hot dog wrappers 3 blocks away. These men have found the secret hallways under the city. That's not alarming. That's resourceful. That's a man who looked at the commute and said, no, I'll take the tunnel.
The detail that genuinely stops me is that they don't appear to be the same man, and they don't appear to know each other, and none of them have been identified. So this is not one guy with a hobby. This is a phenomenon. There are, statistically, enough men coming up out of the New York sewer system that the police department has opened a file on the category. Not a person, the category.
Maybe they're just early for something, Sloan. Maybe down there it's quiet and warm, and nobody's asking you to sign a pledge to be allowed to walk around. I think there's a version of this where the men are perfectly happy, and we're the ones standing up here in the wind, wondering why they look so calm.
An unknown number of unidentified men are surfacing from beneath the largest city in America, on camera, and the official response is a shrug and a file. We can track a mango from a single processing facility to a customs gate. We cannot tell you who is coming up out of the ground. The fruit is documented. The men are a rumor. Anyway.
Hey, so this is the part where I look at what happened on these calendar dates in other years. I've been sitting with this list since this morning. The dates are doing something again. They keep doing it. Let me walk you through it. June 1st, 2009. Air France Flight 447 went into the Atlantic off Brazil. 228 people. And the part that stays with me is that the wreckage and the black boxes were not recovered for nearly 2 years. 2 years where the official account was, essentially, we don't have it yet. The thing that would tell you what happened was at the bottom of the ocean, and everyone agreed to wait. The exact same date, 2 years later, June 1st, 2011, the Space Shuttle Endeavour made its final landing. We stopped being able to put people up there on the same day we'd spent 2 years failing to find people down there. June 2nd, 2022. 3 years ago today, Turkey officially asked the UN to change its name to Turkey. A country changed what you're allowed to call it. And it worked. One request, and the entire international record updated. A country renamed itself in a single afternoon, and the world filed the paperwork. The name was the lever. It's always the name. June 6th, 2002. 24 years ago. Saturday. A near-Earth asteroid about 10 meters across exploded over the Mediterranean with the force of roughly 26 kilotons. Slightly more powerful than the Nagasaki bomb. Detonated in the sky. And nobody noticed in real time. No warning, no alert. Same as Denver tonight. 70-mile-an-hour winds, and the forecast says, clear. The sky does the loudest possible thing, and the report says nothing happened. And June 7th, 1991, Mount Pinatubo started erupting in the Philippines, the lead up to one of the largest volcanic eruptions of the entire 20th century. 7-kilometer ash column. And the thing about Pinatubo is that the scientists knew. They read the seismographs, they saw it coming, they warned people, and a lot of lives got saved because somebody was allowed to stand in the building and say what the instrument said out loud. That's the part. Somebody was allowed to say it. A volcano you can survive if the person reading the instrument is permitted to speak. An asteroid you can't, because nobody was watching the sky. The difference every time is whether the room with the answers in it left the door open. This week, somewhere, it didn't. I'll be back tomorrow.
Okay, sweet friends, the viewer mailbag. And we actually got one. This is from Die Teufelsiege, who writes, and I'm quoting, "I'm in my 40s, I have a wife, 2 kids, a mortgage, and a full-time job. I want to move home. I want to play video games and eat pizza rolls while my mom does my laundry." Sweetie, that is not a question. That is a prayer. And I have never felt anything more sincerely in my life.
That man has correctly identified that the only person who ever offered him unconditional access was his mother. And now he wants to revoke everyone else's credentials and move back into the only press office that never made him sign a pledge.
Teufelsziege! I love you, and you cannot move home. Your kids will tell their therapist about it, but I will personally mail you pizza rolls. I mean that. Give me an address that isn't your mother's.
Every time.
Hey! Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so 2 things. First one, the Pentagon thing, the press desk. My question is, who do I call now if I have a defense question? Like, is there a number?
There's no number anymore, sweetie, but you could try a Ouija board. Same response time, more honest about being a seance.
Okay, yeah. Second one, the plant guy, Travis. My wife says she saw his name on a customs form for a shipment of mangoes. She wrote it down.
Oh, your wife. She has such a beautiful, busy little mind, sweetie. You tell her we adore the things she connects, and we want her to keep connecting them right there at home, cozy, with you, far away from any customs.
He's not on a mango.
He's going to find a defense question by Wednesday. I can feel it.
I'm just saying, if a Hot Pocket is a calzone and a calzone is a sandwich, then a Hot Pocket is a sandwich you have to defrost. And that's the saddest sandwich there is, and I'd still eat 4.
The pigeon came back. Different windowsill, same pigeon. I'd know that face anywhere. I think it just wanted a change of view.
One of you is litigating frozen dough, and the other one is on a first-name basis with a bird. And I am, as always, the one with the keys.
Take such good care of yourselves out there, sweet friends. If somebody you love stopped being able to ask questions this week, go ask them one, out loud, while the door is still open. I'll see you tomorrow. I promise I will see you tomorrow.
2 men who agree on nothing agreed on one thing today. I'm watching to see if they get to keep agreeing, or if the room goes quiet first. The pink note is touching the name. Have a night.
Serena Williams is coming back at 44, and Finland won at hockey, and somewhere a man climbed out of a sewer and walked to brunch. The world's gonna be fine. Probably. See you tomorrow.
We aired tonight without official clearance. Nobody asked. Good night.
I left the hallway light on for her again. The good one. The one that works. She hasn't said anything. That's okay. She doesn't have to say anything. I just want her to walk in and see it on,